Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when and where you're listening to this. But if you're listening to this live and you're listening to this today, I want to say happy Halloween. Yes. It's a day of spookables. Yes. This is Coffee with Kevin. And of course, I got coffee, and I got it in a special coffee cup. And my coffee is delicious this morning. Delicious. Good morning. We're running a little late today, and I apologize for those of you that were expecting me at 9 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time. We're running a little late, had some technical difficulties. Anyway, we're here. We're here now. And look like we're having some technical difficulties now. My screen has stopped, and give me just a moment and I'll get us back there as going from a different video camera to back to where I am. My camera is locked by another application. So we're going to take this time to actually go back here, and I'm going to move this around a little bit so I'm looking in the right direction. That's right. Cool. So even technical difficulties, but today is Halloween. And one of my favorite days, and yes, I don't have a mask, but some of you will think that I am wearing a mask, and a scary one too. This is one of my favorite times of the year. When I was younger, I used to always get dressed up. And when I say younger, I meant when I was raising my kids. I would get dressed up with them. I would wear face paint, a mask, or whatever it is. And I've even done that with my grandson as well. I just love this time of the year, and I love seeing all the children all dressed up and being spooky, and I love haunted houses. The scarier, the better. Oh, boy. And so what I want to talk about is maybe, getting back in touch with the child within us. Because in these days of stress and anxiety, with everything that's going on in the world, it's hard to feel good. It's hard to be happy as much as we want to. It's hard to find joy. But as a little kid, when I say a little kid, when 6 to 7 years old or 5 or 6 years old, it's so easy to keep yourself entertained. It's so easy to be happy. It's the little things. There's always this saying about, kids love the box more than they like what's in the box. That's happened so many times. So let's start being a little bit of, let's appreciate the things that no one else appreciates. Let's start looking at life in that direction. If you want to find that joy, getting back in touch with that little kid, do silly things. I often tell my clients and I tell my students, you want to look in the mirror and you want to smile if you want to feel better, but I take it a little differently. You want to start making funny faces. You want to have fun. Make funny faces. Make yourself laugh when you're looking in the mirror. You bring that joy out that maybe has been hidden for so long. Bring that little kid out of you so you can start to enjoy, so you can start to have fun, right? You don't have to be that adult 100% of the time. You can be this little kid. And if you're a parent and you've got younger children, or better yet, teenage children, I always thought my role as a father was to do everything I can to embarrass my children. So I do silly, stupid stuff that normally would embarrass me, but you know what? It embarrasses them more. This is, again, the child coming out. So find things to do that make you feel good, that make you laugh, that make you, want to play. That's what we need right now in these days. Yeah, you want to be serious when it's time to be serious. But there are times when you need to just bring that child out and have a little fun. You need to just bring that child out and bring some joy back into your life, bring some happiness back into your life. This is pretty cool. At the outside, it looks scary, but a lot of you probably will realize that this is it's a skeleton drawing from the Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead is in Mexico. It's a big celebration. I believe it comes from the Catholic celebration of All Souls Day, which we now call All Saints Day. And of course, we're talking about, in the past, saints weren't just the saints that Catholics know nowadays as the church is seen. Saints were all the members of the church. So it was a day to remember everyone who's passed. And that's what All Souls Day really is. And the Day of the Dead, that's exactly what it is. But here's the way in which they did it. We know the dead after a while become skeletons, and they draw them up. I got to get this in front of me. And they draw them up to be really colorful, really less spooky looking, but more memorable. You can take some of that stuff in your life that's scary, some of the stuff in your life that's frightening you, and you start looking at it from a different way. I'll give you this little story before I leave. I had a woman who for 50 years, she had been terrified of snakes. I mean, absolutely terrified of snakes. She was coming to a workshop. She was being brought by one of my students to a workshop. And he knew I was still working on phobias. So he said, can you use her as a demo? I said, sure. He said, she has a couple of prerequisites, though. She needs some guarantees. I said, guarantees? Yeah. You won't have any toy snakes. You won't have pictures of snakes. You won't have depictions or videos or anything that depicts a snake. This is how bad she was. A toy snake would terrorize her. She'd shake. She'd pass out. She'd pass out. So in essence, what I did is I brought her back because this started when her younger brother threw a snake on her around her neck when she was 7 years old. And so what we did is we went back to that scene, which for most people with a true full-blown phobia is frightening. And I do it in a different way where it's not as frightening and she can deal with it. And we made that scene funny. We made that so everything was cartoonish. All the voices were helium voices. And her brother had this cartoon blow-up head, balloon head. And it almost made her laugh. But after we got through that, and by the way, this is done in a whole process, and it's very hypnotic. But after we got through that, she was no longer afraid of snakes. She had not been on her porch for a whole year because someone told her there was a snake nest underneath the porch. That weekend, she went underneath the porch to check it out. 50 years of a terrifying phobia. Once we can make these frightening things in our lives less frightening some way, looking at it in a different way, looking at it from someone else's perspective that would look at it as something silly, looking at it, making it really funny or lighthearted. Once we can do that, we can get rid of those things that frighten us the most. Those things that frighten us the most. One thing to insert instead of fright, instead of fear, is curiosity. It's curiosity. I I got scared I got rid of the fear of being alone in a big house. You hear these noises, someone's coming in, you always got this worst case, it catastrophize it and say, okay, someone breaking in the house, they're gonna harm me, murder me, whatever it is. And I got rid of it. It was curiosity. It's like, oh, okay, maybe these noises aren't a person. Maybe there's animals in the house. Maybe there's problems with the house, and all sorts of things. You can do this with your mind, and you can lower the intensity of the fears. Get out and try that. Get out and try that. Okay, everyone. Have a great and happy Halloween, and followed by on Great All Souls Day, or Day of the Dead if you celebrate. Again, Day of the Dead is a celebration. It sounds like a movie. It sounds like it would be a zombie movie, right? Day of the Dead existed long before Dawn of the Dead. All right, have a great day and a great week. Matter of fact, I want you to make it that way for yourself. No matter what's going on in your life right now, make it a great day. Make it a great week. Take care.